Hmm.
maybe a little bit longer. Like I think it started like right before the Obama's second term started,
Oh
and
no,
since
identity
then,
politics has gone on for a while.
I mean, it's been going on for a while, but like now is just at this extreme level that I've never witnessed before.
Well, race and ethnic identities are bullshit.
Oh, come on, we know it's not bullshit. Come on.
It's bullshit. I've been banned from, like, I didn't want to say this, but I've been banned from Harvard because of the things that I wrote. Some graduate students ended up looking at my website, reading enough of the things I wrote, and they didn't like it, so they got me banned.
So you
And
cannot
guess
go
what?
there.
The same thing happened to Princeton as well, except faster, because I think like there was one grad student that was at Princeton that actually like knew people at Harvard. I think that they talked to each other. That's what happened faster at Princeton. But like there was a point, I think it was like a couple years ago in November, like I was getting like, you know, hundreds of views on my WordPress. And it was all those, it was the philosophy department just reading almost everything I wrote and then getting mad at me. Well, it was mixed. I would say like there's probably like a handful of people that probably were impressed. Like I think actually Gideon Rosen was impressed because we hung out and we would like talk and you know like we went to dinner together a couple times and stuff, or lunch. I'm sorry. And so I think some people like were impressed with the stuff I wrote, but other people they were just like it pissed them off and they didn't like what I wrote. But whatever. I'm a crazy person.
So you cannot like you cannot give a speech over there, or like did you try to apply there? Like what was the kind of like what were the results of that? When you say you got banned,
I'm
did you
I,
mean
I'm banned from
you got cut off?
the campus. They're I'm banned from being on the campus, on the grounds. Like they don't um
How would they know that like if you're there?
well they just like they don't want me being there. They don't want me talking to people there. They don't want that.
That's weird.
There's a lot of little things that I mean it's kind of complicated, but like at Harvard, I part of it was like I don't know how to explain this. So God, I can't. I don't think I can. I mean, I probably can, but the way that I'll explain it, it's gonna sound very like cringy. Just I don't want to say it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Basically, I think I to put it in a just like in a general way. I think I probably intimidated some of the grad students because they just and like maybe like one or two of them especially did kind of felt insecure because of me like when if we're I'm not a grad student, but if I like say things or whatever that like seem more impressive, I suppose, then I don't know, whatever it is, then grad students who are like actually in the program, then I guess it just makes so it made some of the grad students feel kind of insecure about their place and like whether they should be at Harvard or Princeton or whatever it is. and then like the people around them kind of rally to support them, and then it becomes like, let's go get her kind of thing, and then they just like make a big deal out of things that don't need to be that much of a big deal. And yeah, people are petty. It doesn't matter if you're in academia, actually. People are much more petty, and just like emotionally immature than you think. Like you would think that these people are supposed to be very intelligent. At least they're held in in that way. They're regarded in that way. But if you meet them in person and you see like their reactions to things, and you you realize like some of these, not all of them, but some of these people are the most immature, retarded motherfuckers on the planet. Like they have learning, but they're just petty as fuck. You know, I, I don't even know what to say about that. But they put this front. They have this front, and the world sees them a certain way. But they're petty. There's some petty ass, ratchety ass motherfuckers in these Ivy League universities.
Oh, not just Ivy League. I think I've seen them everywhere.
Yeah. I'm the sort of person, if I don't see it for myself, if I don't hear it with my own ears, if I don't see it with my own eyes, then I'm probably not going to just accept it, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to go to Harvard to audit classes there. And, because I wanted to know for myself. And so I went there and I was there. And yeah, it just being there for the couple years that I was at Harvard, and then obviously afterwards, the 6 months that I was on the campus at Princeton. I'm still in the city, but I'm not on campus. I mean, it just changed my perspective about so many things in the world. No, it's not. No, it's not really trust. It just I think it's more like I realized that I just um I pulled the curtain back a little bit more than I had already, and it was like one of those last things um that I think I was still blinded to, but I saw it for myself, and then I was no longer blind. Yeah. I know too much now, and they've cast me out because I'm willing to tell lay people, things that presumably they're not qualified to hear. 'Cause I think maybe they might be. Well, like the passages that we just looked at.
No, that
That
won't be
tradition
that won't be
is
qualified. That would be incapable of comprehending.
sure. Well, I mean, to use the language from the quotes, I think one of the words that was used was qualification. That's why I use that. But yeah, sure, capable, whatever.
Well, that was way beyond my pay grade. Way beyond. Yeah, fuck it out. Yeah. I mean, excuse me.
You're so cute.
Oh, by the way, you wanted to know more questions or what? Sorry, no more questions. Ask more questions just to finalize
Oh,
the
the
interview.
interview? No, no, we were done. Yeah, but like usually, basically, like if you hang out enough and and I get to know you like that, I'll probably give you the citizen role. But it just like if I do a quick 20-minute interview, it speeds up the process of getting to know you because I'm focusing on getting to know you rather than I just like pick up little things here and there over the course of like 6 months, you know.
6 months. Okay.
I mean, but like it depends on like how often. Like I would say like I think I know Sydney well enough where we're more than just acquaintances, so it's like I just want to get to that level where we're a little more, we don't need to be friends, but we're a little more than just acquaintances. And that's why I do the interview. But yeah, I'm sure I'll get to know you little by little, more and more as time goes on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. So, see, he knows me now.
Yeah.
In a weird way, he knows.
You know,
Say what? Nah, I'm MIA. Right. 3 days of nuisance. Well, it was my belief that she was not finished. I
yeah.
could be
No, it
wrong.
was done. No, it was
Right.
done. I just wanted to um like I was curious about a couple more things, but um I forget
You-
what else other right now. But yeah. But it's fine. I'm sure I'll have questions just like in general. But right now I'm doing a tattoo. That's what I'm gonna do.
No, it's good. It's a good man. It's a good man. Good man. No, he's Muslim, I think it is. If I'm not mistaken. He's a confused Muslim. Willing
Confused.
willing willing to expand his knowledge. It is up to us to change him to the dark side. All believers are confused. Okay. What the hell are you doing, woman? What is that?
Are
That
you
looks
talking to me?
painful. Yes. Well,
What are you talking?
that's the only weird. That's the only weird things I'm watching right now.
Oh, I'm
Is that healthy?
giving myself a tattoo. They
What? I don't
asking if
know.
it's healthy. I don't know,
Okay.
but I'm going to. Let me see if I can. So I'm gonna do this right here. I have a
Right.
stencil, so I'm gonna do this leg, and then I have like a rose picture on this leg. This is a
Right.
stencil, the blue thing. But
Obviously. Yeah.
so I'm gonna
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
both of my legs today. Yeah.
Mad props to you.
Pain. Welcome to my pain. No, but you know what? That in itself, it shows you that it's one tough woman. Yeah. You obviously, but to be able to uh, self um, poke, shall we call it? Right. Correct. Correct, because you have to focus on the pain plus also in getting your shit right, because otherwise, instead of making a words, you're gonna make a fucking Peter Pan drawing. Yeah. Hey, Messom, don't look that surprised, my man. It's called atheism. We do what we want. Yeah, yeah. That's a simple thing, but yeah, yeah. So, Messom, what tattoos have you got?
0.
Zero. Ah, nah. He's not he's not worthy to go to the dark side with us. No? Shit. You're on the fake side of the dark side. I bet Fruitcake and Johnny's got some.
What?
I don't have shit.
Now we're talking about Sophie doing her tattoos, so we're saying everybody now on the atheist side should be have some sort of, call it, mark.
No, I
The mark
don't.
of,
I don't have a tattoo.
oh no. But can I explain that?
Ha ha ha. You're funny.
Oh, funny that you want to hear something funny? I was born 6 December 66, so I got a few sixes on my shoulder. Yep. Yeah. Not 1960, obviously. Oh yeah, like what's his name? Jesus. So what do your people say when you walk into the classroom?
What? Are you talking to
What do
me?
you, yes, what do
Jesus
your
Christ is the
pupils?
Messiah. He's our Lord and Savior.
Yeah.
Except I'm a Muslim, so maybe I'll waste time on Jesus. Then I'm sorry, but you're going to burn in hell, sir. And there's nothing I can do to stop God from pouring gasoline on your head. Yeah, I'll pray for you, sir. That's what I can do. I can't do anything more. Yeah, I guess that is a troll. I don't know, bro. Well, what can I do? How can I bring you closer to the truth? I don't know, bro. I don't have
Well,
a
that
clue.
one thing for sure is that we will have free barbecues.
100%. Everybody's a half African in hell, you know, so never be a racist. Remember that. Oh
So
my God.
way below the belt. Way below the belt.
Hey, come on. You're not even African. Come on, man. We got to calm down. Thank God nobody's stealing
See
my
what?
resources.
See what?
That would be terrible.
No. I get it.
Yeah. I don't know. He flew up there, bro. That's what happened. According to the story, right? Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he's living up there in heaven. It's two people that like successfully left the flat Earth. What's that called? What was the firmament? Yes, like 2 or 3 people. I think it was Enoch, Jesus, and the Prophet Muhammad. Right? These are the 3 people that went up there with the permission of God. What? Dude, Jesus is a man. The fuck do you mean? He's just some dude, bro. He's eating food and fucking talking to people. I mean, how's he God? No, bro, they're watering down what it means to be God. Bro. God means self-sustaining and infinite and uncreated. Like there's like Jesus has none of those attributes. Well, explain the universe. Then. The fuck is that? Come on, bro. Like you're trying to trap me right now. I just said I don't agree with that. What? Yo, what is this? Is this guy a lawyer? Yo, you're trying to scam me, man.
A lawyer.
Yo, he's trying to scam me. I just disagreed with this. He's asking a question in a different way. Yo, come on, Sydney. You gotta be fucking. Come on. Let's just talk like men. Okay? No, he was not created infinite. Like I don't understand that. I don't I don't know what that means, man. I don't think there was a time when God did not exist. If you wanna, yeah, I don't know what that means. Like if okay, I'll make it easy for you, bro. My definition of God is that God is nothing. Okay, so nothing has always existed, right? Very simple, very simple. Okay, so just apply that to God. The
No,
essence
so,
of God is nothing. Oh, it's incorrect. So there's always been something, right? There is a chance that there's always been something, right? Okay, all right. There you go, motherfucker. There you go. All right, thank you. And that thing that's always existed is God, motherfucker. That's what it is. Get trapped. Get trapped. Yo, just you got destroyed.
Listen
Okay,
here,
I fucking shit on you.
there has always been something. There has always been something. I agree with you. All right, there has always been something. So to say that there hasn't always been something is wrong, because there has always been something. That is what I want to know about your God. How did your God come into existence when there has always been something, as you agree?
let me put it, Sidney, let me put it in a different way. Let's see if I can twist it.
Let's go for it.
Right?
Because I don't like these arrogant people who don't know fucking what they're talking about.
Oh, come on, bro. The arrogance is coming out of you.
Well, now you're just repeating what I'm saying. So you're not being very.
Listen, I'll talk.
You're not being very.
Seems more reasonable.
Right. Okay.
You're not being very original.
I was rudely interrupted.
No, you were not rudely interrupted. You were very politely interrupted. I'm just kidding.
Okay. Again. Hypothetical is a hypothetical thought, right? Whatever the fuck that means. But this is to you directly as a hypothetical. Could you construct something the size of the moon?
The size of the moon?
It's not sort of a trick question. Can you construct something? Fine, that's a right answer. It's a trick question, but it's the right answer. Can you construct something smaller than an atom?
No.
Right. That's the right question. That's the right answer as well. So if we apply that analogy, what I'm saying to you, right, and I know why you say no, if you get what I mean, right? So think about that, put that in that concept of what I just said in your mind, right? If you say a supernatural being created a posteriori or afterwards a so-called universe via the Big Bang or whatever, that composition of the universe is fucking huge, right? So that entity has to be at the very least equal size to be able to construct it, right? It cannot be a Smurf or an ant that, on the size of that the ant or the size of a microbe to be able to construct the universe, right? Similarly,
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go on.
Okay, well, no, I don't know if I don't know if I necessarily, because we're talking about creating something from scratch versus like taking materials that you currently have.
No, I did not. I was not. No, I was not talking about the material per se. I was talking about you in your size. Can you make something the size of the moon? No, you cannot. Right, physically.
Of course not.
Right. Again, I'm talking about
But I was thinking about. I wasn't thinking about materials that are around it, and I know it's impossible. Like I can't make the moon. I can't make anything the size of the moon. I understand what you're saying, but because I think we probably disagree on something, which is that you believe that the materials that the universe is made out of perhaps have always existed, right? Maybe, I don't know. I'm making an assumption.
No, that's fine. No, sorry, I was not getting into the material side yet. What I'm trying to depict here is the incoherency of a creator being the same size of the universe to be able to create that. Basically, the analogy of me saying to you, either create this battery charger, right? That you and I could do if we got the know-how and equipment, versus create this the size of the fucking moon, right? So it is incoherent to say that, right? Because we are not big enough or massive enough to do that, right? It's incoherent. The same way, if an ant could not construct this, or if you're the size, no, the other way around. If you are too big, you cannot construct something that is very small. You will need extra resources, right? Like microscope things or whatever. So based on that ratio or that logic understanding of your limitation between you and whatever you're constructing, or the possibility of whatever you can construct, same thing goes with a God, right? I understand that God is saying that he or she can do whatever the fuck they want, right? But within reason. For example, he or she cannot make a square triangle or square circle or whatever, right? But the same way applying that type of logic, that entity or supernatural entity should not have the capability, or if that person or that entity has the capability of the universe, it cannot do something really small, like creating ants, like creating animals. Like I think it was the fifth day, creating animals, right? Creating animals in relation to the universe is like you creating an atom.
Yeah.
If you understand my ratio.
Yeah, right. No, yeah, we fully agree. Yeah.
Right. So, without going into the details of be able to do something with his power, how would you rationalize that somebody can create something big? For example, the Christian world or the Judeo-Christian supernatural entity that's saying that in the first day he created the heaven and earth, with or without firmament, with without fucking dome, with without flat earth, whatever, right? How this bitch could do such an immense thing if he's capable of talking to humans or interact with humans, right? He has to fucking shrink a hell of a lot, right, in the big scope of the universe. Have you seen this video? Somebody made a video. Sorry, there's two videos that people have started with planet Earth. Actually, wrong. He started with a flower, right? And then he starts zooming out until you see the planet Earth. Then you see the moon next to it and start disappearing. And it says the next planet is XYZ. Then they left the fucking solar system. Then they start going for fucking galaxies and all that kind of bollocks, right? And then the sun was really fucking small in comparison with massive planets, right? The sun, right? It was minuscule. Never mind our planet, the sun, fucking like non-existent, right? And basically it was going backwards and backwards and backwards. And so once the biggest planet was sort of passed away, now they start going showing fucking galaxies, right? Fucking massive galaxies, right? And then clusters of galaxies, not galaxies, clusters. I go, fuck that. I mean, that is fucking huge, right? And this is known universe, what we know, what we can see, right? So how can somebody how can somebody that can talk to a human, aka Abraham, right? So we're talking about this guy could actually talk to it, so Abraham can hear it, right? All of a sudden, he could comprehend, he could imagine that person being big enough or massive enough to be able to create the cosmic background radiation, basically the whole fucking universe, right?
Yeah.
Can you fathom that? Can you put that into perspective?
Yeah. No, I understand your point. I think we actually agree. I mean, one of the things is like I don't think God ever directly communicates. I don't think so. Like there has to be some sort of medium, right? You know, some entity maybe that's capable, like in a different realm that we're not able to, maybe a different dimension that's lower than God that somehow can communicate with us. I mean, there's many ways to go about this. I think I agree with you. I think if God tried to communicate with us, everything would be destroyed, right? Just like if I tried talking to ants or whatever, if I just breathe incorrectly, I could destroy like everything they have, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So,
because your mass of volume is too big in relation to whatever you're trying to communicate or address. Yeah.
So I don't think I disagree. It's but there are like again for example, I don't hold to the Jesus God type thing, right? You could say, okay, well, like God like somehow shrunk himself down. Now he's a human. Now he can communicate. He can talk to people. And,
that's what I was getting at. Correct.
I mean, I understand that, but I just don't see how God would like be comfortable, you know, being born into a body and then take shits and eat just like me and walk like me and sleep like me. Like these things don't make any sense, right? If I was the most powerful thing, why would I reduce myself down, in my opinion, to this lower state, right? Like it's literally like just I would just be disrespecting myself in some way, right? Like it just doesn't fit.
Yeah, but that's because you don't understand
what I am. It's not about love. I don't think any of us would be willing to give up all of our powers just so like some ants can talk shit to us and punch us in the face and maybe crucify us, right? Like
yes.
I don't
actually, you know what?
You know what I'm saying?
That's a fucking good analogy. Exactly. Yeah. So we are saying basically that ants are capable of crucifying Jesus. That's the equivalence.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. So I wouldn't say that Jesus is God. Like, this is something I think it's a very silly. I don't usually attack Christians on it because, you know, I think that even if Christianity is complete bullshit, right, which I do, I still think that, you know, like if you're sick, right, and if you can't live without Christianity, let's say, even if it is, what's that called? You know, like when you have like a pill that doesn't do anything. I forget what the name is for it.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Placebo. That's the word.
Placebo effect. Placebo effect. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So even if it is a placebo, and like the entire religion is horseshit, I don't know if I'm like willing to take that away from someone, because, you know, there is this thing about, and you guys probably know about it, where like when someone starts off with a religion and then leaves it, there's a side effect to that, right? So like you could make the argument and say, well, you're better off staying atheist and like don't teach your kids about God, right? Then you won't get that side effect of like fearing death and stuff for like a couple of years.
Yes.
I was an atheist. I went through the same exact thing. So you can make the argument just atheist, like starting off atheist is better. But then I would also make the argument that the people that already believe in God, perhaps the side effect is too high for them, right? So I try not to. I don't do the conversion thing. I'll try to. But yeah, I agree with you that the Jesus thing is bullshit. But there's also another thing. Like I think God is everywhere, for example. So I understand that, but like then you have God communicating. That's a whole different question. Right?
Yeah, but being everywhere.
All space.
Right, but being everywhere, you mean omnipresence, right?
Yeah, I do believe in the omnipresence.
Right, but
like you can. Here's the thing. I can give you a couple of analogies. It doesn't even have to be the way we think it is. You could even give a simulation example. Like, for example, let's say this world is a simulation and some fat guy created it. It doesn't matter, right? You can give a woman or LGBT woman creates the universe, and it's all on a computer and everything's recorded, right? Everything, all the lines of code. Every time you move, every time you interact, every time you do anything, it's all recorded. You can consider that to be omnipresence as well, right? Because technically she could fast forward, right? The universe, she could slow it down, she could go back. She would have all the information, everything is written down. You could say that's omnipresence in a way, right? Because this person would be able to know everything about everybody just by reading. It would, like, obviously, from our perspective, it would be instant because she could just pause the simulation, read through everything, right? As long as she wants, you know, and assuming people from like outside of the simulation have immortality, which is a big assumption, but, you know, I do think we can reach that in the future, like on this planet. So making that assumption that this is a simulation, I don't think it's too big of a stretch.
No, I concur, actually.
She technically could have infinite brain capacity and read the entire thing and be omnipresent, right? This is technically it is possible. You just have to look at it different. So, so I don't think it's too hard to say. But then again, communicating with something outside, I think you run into problems because, first of all, if the intelligence is so high, this thing would have to dumb itself down to a level that's like, I don't even know if that's possible, right?
Well,
and
I mean, could it be possible? Yes, because you are able to talk to somebody intelligent as Sophia, right? And also address a kid, a toddler. So you're not going to talk to a toddler like you were talking to Sophia, right? Yeah. So you could adapt within reason, right? And adjust the level of IQ or intelligence based on the information that they hold, right? But the supernatural being also have another problem that we are playing on the game of time, and our time is linear, right? It is one direction, right? Like the group, one direction. Okay, now.
Yeah.
If our story is... Oh, you just got it now, yeah? I bet you got a bit slow.
No, I'm just laughing at you using that group. Oh my god.
No. I meant one direction as in linear direction. Okay, vector. A vector. Yeah. We are time is a single vector. There you are. That's a little bit more technical side of it, right? So whatever that direction of the vector, right, is not. It cannot be. It is not reversible, i.e., going back to the past, like time travel. Reverse time travel. No, we have to figure out how to go forward. I think we are stuck in the wave, in the moment, right? Everybody equal. We are sharing the equal time. What I'm getting at is that this supernatural entity is like a square circle. He cannot be in the future, right? Because that brings complications in the sense that if it is possible, like just for entertainment purposes, the equivalence or the analogy that would give you is that like a football match or a tennis match or like a sports match, that this person knows the outcome, right? And if our timeline is vector directional, right? It cannot be deviated. It cannot be changed if you know the future. Yes. Because if you know the future, that means we don't have any will, or the will that we decide is already linear. If I choose this hand or this hand, I already in time decided this hand and this hand. So technically, in his point of view, already chosen, right? Because it's already passed. In his point of view, it's already passed. Now, if so, omniscient in the sense of knowing all, coming back, it has some problems, because if this entity or supernatural entity, by influence of or request of us, I'm talking about prayers, right? We require or we pray that Sophia doesn't do too many tattoos, right? We ask for the. No, I'm just taking the piss now, right? Right? Just put a little bit of humor here, right? Yeah. She doesn't hurt herself, but God has already determined, or He's seen the outcome, and the outcome is that she has been hurt. She has hurt herself 47 times, right? But I'm praying right now that she only hurts 25 times, right? So there is a contradiction between my current time and his final time. So for him to have, for him to accept my request, that means
first cause, everything came from, right? Imagine it's a bunch of billiard balls just hitting each other every single second. Millions, billions, trillions of billiard balls, right? But if you had the capacity, if you had all the knowledge, you would be able to make perfect predictions. So again, now you have two different beliefs now. You have the omnipresent God, which knows everything from the beginning to the end. This is the Islamic one, I believe. I believe the Jewish version, I believe, has a similar one, right? They believe the same thing. But then there's the Christian one, which is a little bit strange, which is they believe that God knows everything right now, but doesn't know anything about the future, right? Now, but the problem is, because you can make predictions, just like the billiard balls, right? If you have infinite capacity and you have all the knowledge of right now, you would be able to predict a millisecond into the future, maybe even less than a millisecond. But you can use that millisecond to predict the next millisecond, the next millisecond, the next millisecond that comes after that, and you would know the outcome of the entire universe, right? This would be possible if you have infinite capacity, right? So anyway, in the atheistic view, unless you believe in randomness or you believe in some other interaction from outside of the universe coming in and changing things, something metaphysical, which I don't believe atheists believe in anyway, right? So if you believed in true randomness, where there is something that, just does things randomly, there's no way for you to calculate it. And even if you went back in time, that thing would be random again, right? Meaning that if it was possible to time travel, right? Let's say something happened right now. There was an explosion, a car, something happened, right? And I went back in time to that same exact moment, and that explosion didn't happen, right? We can assume that explosion is random, right? Completely random, not connected to anything. So you would need true randomness in order for things to be different, right? This is the only thing that would be in an atheistic world. So in a theistic world, what it would look like, in my opinion, right? Basically, every single time anybody prays, God would always, because he's perfect, would always choose the most perfect option, right? So assuming that God listens to prayers, every single time I pray, God will always listen and respond in the most perfect way he can, right? You could make the argument and say that God himself doesn't have free will because he's following a pattern. He never chooses the second best option, right? You could even choose that.
Yeah,
So,
but you got a problem right there. Right there, you got a problem.
sure.
That means he
Well,
doesn't know the future, because if you pray, you are praying the present for a future event, right?
yes, I understand that, but couldn't you say that? Okay, so you're saying that God doesn't have knowledge of the potential future, that this is impossible, right?
No, potential, yes, but what about knowing the future? That's the problem. Potential, no. Predicting an event is different than knowing the final event. Big, huge difference, right?
Yes,
We're
of
talking
course,
about
of course, but
we're talking about an entity that it has been described as knowing it all beforehand, yeah, i.e. predestined, like the Calvinists say. Everything is already sorted, everything is already done, right? Yeah, and he already played the game, or he already wrote the script, which is fucking worse, right? He's the author of our events, right?
yes,
And
yes, but couldn't that be the true of God's interaction too, right? Couldn't God know about his own interaction
no,
that would
no,
happen?
no, you cannot have
So why is this
interaction,
impossible?
because you cannot because you put in God in different timings, right? If he interacts, right, and we ask for something, then the future is you are asking for a different future. If he already done
Yes,
his thing, right, then he has to change it, and you are a single entity, and then there's is 7 billion entities that are asking for different kind of shit that wants to change. I want her to suffer not the 47 times that he has already ordained. Do you, if you get what I mean, right? He's got his own, he's his own director, and we, the actors, are saying no, we want it different. So you want the director to ask the writer to change the script, That's
But
the analogy I'm taking.
I understand what you're saying, but this is two views of looking at it. So like, because I believe that God's interaction is already in the script as well as the person praying for it. Right?
Then it's linear. Then it has it. Then your praying is part of the
There's
script.
no free will. Yes, I
Right.
don't believe in free will. 100%. I don't believe in it. I don't see how we can get free will from an omnipresent thing. Personally, I don't have a problem with that. Honestly,
Right.
I don't. I would even go as far as to say that I don't believe in morals, like religiously, right? Because like okay, so people talk about objective morals, like this is the right thing to do every single time. This is the right thing. This is the right thing. Well, for example, right, in Islam, so I'm a Muslim, right? In
Mhm.
Islam, you have to pray 5 times a day. Do you think anybody would have prayed 5 times a day if they didn't believe that God commanded it? Is this an objective moral thing? Do I have to do this every single day? No, I wouldn't do it if God hadn't commanded it. So it's basically anything God says. This is my view on the world, just so you understand, because I don't believe in the loving God that everybody believes in. I believe God kidnapped all of us, created us from nothing, and then sent us into this predestined world where we all have to live as slaves. And then in the end, God will send us to one destination, which I don't know what it is. It can either be good or bad, right? That's my opinion. Now, some people think I'm crazy. Why would you worship something like that? Because if I don't, he's going to fucking destroy me. That's why. So I don't think he's a loving, like, whatever, right? So that's why I pray, because, that's
Right.
the reason. I do it based
Fine.
on fear, right? Yeah.
Well, again, okay. So 3 things, because you mentioned the prayer. One is you acting in Pascal wages, right? I'll do this just in case,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So
100%.
okay, fine. Well, yeah, it's almost by definition. Second, you are living based or within a belief system of what's his name? Doesn't
Allah,
matter. It's got no. It's called
Prophet
a
Muhammad.
hold on. Is a celestial dictatorship, right? So
Yes.
basically,
100%.
basically this guy is a bully. He's a bully, and he has created the game with the rules. He created chess, basically, right? With the with not just the chess. He already played the game, right? And the equivalent is that the pawn is praying 5 times a day for whatever reason, right? Respecting your
Yeah.
belief system, right?
Yes.
For a possible outcome. So the God is saying, "Who the fuck are you to pray 5 times for the shit already done?" Right? But if you say that the praying is part of what I said to you, the vector, the time, our timeline is linear. Yeah, we are going forward in time. We're not going backwards, and we're not stationary. So we are definitely moving forward. We're getting older. Whatever. She's getting more tattoos, and you know what I mean, right? So it is not reversible, right? We cannot go now. You and
Yeah.
me pray that she doesn't make it, because that you are fucking up, or we are fucking up the Almighty's end game, right? Not plan, end game, because we have to assume that the writer of the story has already written the story, because he has to be considered all powerful, right? And we live in a continuous world system where we call this time. Basically, the biggest enemy of religion is time. That's a problem, right? Because if we put attributes of supernatural I'm talking too much out of my ass. We put attributes of all powerful, all knowing, or all good, or X, Y, Z, right? You're limiting the scope of what we can do to request a change, aka prayer, right?
Yeah, it's
Because
impossible. It's impossible.
right, no, in according to our Korean understanding of the physical world and the laws of nature, yeah, it's impossible. Otherwise, it would
Yes.
be incoherent if he start changing the fucking speed of light or changing the gravity, right? I mean
Yeah, of course.
right. So one of the two has to cave. Either our rationale of how how we function in the universe as a whole, as a set, or this guy can change things, right? So it's it is more rational to think that we know to our current understanding how things work, and it's more that is rational to think rather than somebody in the Bronze Age making up or thinking that he has experienced a conversation in a one-to-one basis with a supernatural entity that he or she has been given a knowledge-based system in which he has to write it down and disseminate it, like our friend here said that he has got runners, right? First of all, he gave it to a prophet or prophets, whatever, doesn't matter, and then disseminated across the known world at that time, right? That's a little bit far-fetched, right? So that's why I believe that the natural world, it makes more sense currently than what people think about the supernatural world. That's there.
I understand what you're saying. I just don't think there's a difference between the two, right? Because again, if you're praying, whether you're an atheist or you believe in no free will as a theist, there is no difference between the two. They're the exact same because the only difference is how we interpret it. So if I'm praying to God, right? If I pray to God and I'm like, God, please help me out, right? And then something happens the next day, which makes me think that God listened to me and actually, you know, helped me out in some way. You can interpret that as, well, that's just a coincidence, and he's just assuming that God helped him, right? But the world is still the exact same. And on top of that, we still don't have free will, whichever one you decide to choose, right? Whether you're an atheist or you believe in, the only way we can really get free will is like through I believe the only way we can get it. Now, there's two ways actually that we can get free will, right? Number one, if I asked you, and let's say you had full free will, you could do anything you wanted, right? And some entity walked up to you and said, do you want to be imprisoned inside of a planet for 80 years, right? It's your own free will to choose. But once you choose, you cannot get out until 80 years later, right? If you say yes to that, even if you are confined and you can't move, you can't eat, sleep, or anything, it was your own free will. You acted on it, and now you've chosen to be in this place for 80 years, right? So if you believe that the soul pre-existed, for example, and you believe that the soul chose to come into this world where the soul had all the information, right? And then you could say you have free will, even if this world is predestined, and you just threw the dice and you're hoping for like a good result. That's good. Another one is saying that God limited his foreknowledge, which is the Christian faith, which I don't believe. I don't think that's possible because if there was a time where God knew everything, then then obviously, you know, because time doesn't really exist like in God's realm, like God is in all time at the same time. This is the belief, at least, right? Then even if God decided to limit his foreknowledge, he would still have all knowledge because there would be a time where he knew everything, right?
Right.
And doesn't separate him from his current self and the self before he limit his
And
foreknowledge.
no, also that he would have to know that he have to change it because somebody prayed. Remember, pray is the equivalent of asking for something that you did not have at that time, right? So
Yeah, but I don't think
can't
there's a
you say
contradiction in saying that, like, then that
why?
the God's interaction itself, right? Like, I don't think there is a contradiction, okay? Because
Wait a second. You're
again,
assuming
yes,
though. No, what you're
sure,
assuming that the prayer is that is somehow free. But if what you're saying is true and everything is predetermined, then even the prayer
That's what I'm
itself,
saying.
the content of prayer is predetermined. So that just means
Right.
that
Yes,
God,
yes.
yeah, you are going to pray what you did, and so everything is. I don't see the contradiction there. There doesn't need to be a contradiction.
I don't. Yeah, there is. I don't think there's a contradiction because okay, so look out. So I don't see there being a contradiction because the prayer would be predestined as well. And
Right.
then again, because God is perfect, God would choose the best option. If God wanted to listen to the prayer, would always select the best option because God is perfect. He's not going to choose the second best option.
No, yeah,
So
no, but he can, no.
there would be no
The problem
change
is
in history.
no. The problem is the option. The problem is the option. It cannot be optional because if it's
Yeah, I'm
optional,
saying it's
he
not
needs to.
optional.
Right. So
Yeah,
then
the
it's not
prayer
okay. So there's
itself is not free. It's not a free prayer, at least.
Yeah,
uh,
it's not optional. So the prayer would be answered in the same way, and the prayer would happen, right? The prayer would happen and would be answered in the same exact way every single time. God would not change his mind the second, third, fourth, whatever time.
no, but you see, yeah. Hold on. But then the prayer is part of the first event. Okay, his plan will be you praying. It will
Right.
not be the
Yes,
one not praying. So therefore, my argument stands. It is that it is a linear event. He made the story already with you praying, not praying.
yes, exactly.
So you're not praying for a change. You are just following a script, a
Yeah, but
celestial script.
you can
Yeah,
psychologically,
100%.
you can believe you're praying for a change, but you might not actually be. That's
No,
just
That's overcomplicating. What I'm saying, no, but you're taking it in a personal level. In the celestial level, he doesn't give a shit about your how your psyche works because at the end of the day, he's looking from a top-down position where the game has already been played, right, and involves of him already prayed X amount of time within his lifespan, inside of his belief system, right?
but
It could be
maybe
the
Yeah,
case. Go on, sorry, go on. My apologies. Go on.
maybe it's like this. So maybe when you let's say that you there's someone that um there's something that you want, right? I don't know, like you want to have a basketball for birth your birthday present. Like that's something that you want, a basketball, right? Now, let's say that you just kind of mildly wish it, and when you mildly wish it, like someone just knows that and gives you a basketball for your birthday. Um, versus like you, but it's difficult to get, and so you desire it, and you know it becomes like a thing that you desire, and it's an objective that you have for a while, and then you obtain the basketball. Psychological, and in order for us to um, make meaning, or because meaning is important to beings like us, we need reasons and things like that, and that's what makes sense for us. um, Maybe it's for the sake of our kind of psychology that that a certain process has to uh, be, uh, be enacted. You have to go through a certain order of things, a certain course. You can't just be given the basketball before you want it. That wouldn't even make sense to you. You have to want it first and want it a lot and then get it. And that's much more meaningful, and you will feel gratitude and all of that. I don't know, just a thought.
Yeah, no, yeah, but there's a problem here. There's a problem here
Mhm,
in that train of thought. You're not wrong in the human sense,
mhm.
but I'm gonna give you an analogy.
Okay.
JR talking, and the Lords of the Rings, right? Okay, now you talking like a character, right? Uh, we have to understand that already J.R. Tolkien, he's already written that, right? And the Hobbit
Right.
is actually praying for a change, right? Yeah, or a soldier might pray that he doesn't want to die in the next war, in the next conflict,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah, or the
Yeah.
elves, right? He wishes that every arrow hits the target,
Yeah.
right? Okay, well, what if the god or J.R. Tolkien has already dictated or predetermined all the different instances of that timeline, right? And what you just said is the reflection of the subject in the story, but not J.R. Tolkien's overall view of the thing. And that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, you are addressing, and he is addressing the human aspect of it, right? But if there is
Right.
a J.R. Tolkien, we haven't got a say on the fucking matter. We are just the actors. Oh, sorry, not the actors. The characters. We are the characters of that storytelling, right? And in
Right.
that story, there's a linear event that it cannot be changed, right? And we
Right.
are writing that event, right? So prayers, what we consider what this gentleman considers a prayer, it may be part already of the linear event of what he wanted, and that could be something. So this human, Johnny, right, gives the illusion that he's thinking that his prayer is taken into effect, or your version is that the child that thought that wanted the basketball or whatever, right, got it by whatever means. That could be part of the script. I look at the bigger picture and not the character picture, right? It's totally different.
Yeah.
But again,
Yeah.
how does it how is there a contradiction in saying that God's interaction is already included after the prayer?
Because he's already predetermined. He's already been scripted.
So God is predetermined that He's not going to interact.
No, he's already interacted. You see, that's the whole point, right? If he interacts,
sure, yeah.
Okay, in J.R. Tolkien, the equivalent will be for him to change the story of the Hobbit. Instead of having hairy foot, they would have twice as long, but with no hair. You understand? The Hobbit prayed for that to occur, right? But remember, J.R. Tolkien already wrote the saga, the film, or the different films, or the different books in this case, right? So it cannot be changed. It is predetermined. Not the outcome. The whole fucking thing is predetermined from day one, or from conception of the creation of that event, as the Lord of the Rings, Superman, Spider-Man, fucking whatever, right? The creators of those things have already created the linear event, right? And you are asking, or you are in the position of the character asking for a change. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know what you're saying, but
Right.
I understand what you're saying. But again, okay, let's say God's answer to the prayer is also linear, which is what I believe.
Yeah, but then it's linear. Then your prayer was part of the equation.
Yes, of course, it's linear.
Right.
Yes. But there's no way that it was even possible for, like, what you said about Sophie, hurting herself 45 times and praying and then turning into 27.
Correct.
It was already 27. It was never 45. for example,
Correct. Correct.
if he,
Correct.
yes,
Correct.
yeah. So I
Correct.
don't, but there's no disagreement and there's no contradictions here. No disagreement. I
So,
don't
for
have
example, she could think that she's gonna hurt herself, right? I can pray. Remember, this her present state is not the future, right? 47 is the final outcome, right? And that is Sophie is just a character of the set instruction that she holds. My character says that I wish she hurt herself only 26 times or 28 times, right? But that could be the actual plot. And again, so in other words, thinking of prayer of change is not coherent because it makes the God not all powerful or not omniscient, not powerful, not omniscient. It cannot be.
Okay, yeah, no, I completely agree. I think it's all predestined, 100%.
Right.
I don't have a
So,
problem with it but then here's the thing: you run into some problems, and I'll give you what the problems are because I did think about this before converting, right? So you run into a couple of problems. For example, there's no difference between God sending Satan to hell and sending a newborn baby to hell. There's no difference in it anymore because instead of saying that someone is punished based on their actions, you're now saying that they were both born with a function to go to hell for eternity, right? So
right.
that there would be no difference. It would be based on God's will. Now you run into another problem. Why were we created? God could have just implanted all the predestined memories that I would have had and then sent me to either hell or heaven without even creating me into this world, right? You run into a couple of problems there. So I believe there's another problem.
No,
Where
not really. Let me address that one.
Sure.
Not really. It means that God could be a fucking psycho.
I wouldn't say psycho. I would just say that to me it wouldn't be just.
He's got some issues. Let's put it on a refined manner.
Sure. That's completely fine.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But let me tell you how I solve these problems for me personally. Right? So number one, I don't know how God is going to judge us. I don't believe in, and I believe this is the most toxic thing in religion, where you can tell somebody that they're going to end up in hell or heaven, right, with a guarantee, and say that this person is going to go. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Hitler. You can't say Hitler went to hell, and you can't say Jesus went to heaven, right? From my perspective, I think this is a very arrogant thing to say, and it gives you, you are basically telling God how he's going to do his job, right? You're telling him that actually, you're the one who's supposed to be the judge and you're supposed to send us to hell or heaven. But I'm going to tell you how to do your job. And I'm telling you, and I'm telling this guy that he's going to end up in heaven, right? I think that's a great insult, right? If you actually believe in God, you should never do something like that, right? Because if I worked a job for 40 years and some guy who just worked there for a week told me how to do my job, I would tell him to go fuck himself, right? I would think that's insanely disrespectful.
Yeah.
So I don't do stuff like that anymore. That's number one. So I don't know where we're going to end up. That's one of the things. And then my answer for the creation of the universe is exactly that. It's time, right? What we just talked about. I do think that for some reason, God values the physical and God also values time. I don't know why, right? I don't know why. Maybe it's because we're in the moment at all times, we're alive. And for some reason that's valuable to God. I don't know. But that's my only answer. And that's why I prayed, because, when you're praying in the moment, maybe God likes that. I don't know. But that's the only things. That's how I fix that for myself. And I don't have any issues with it.
No, that's fine. Yeah. But do you know that there's there is actually a big fucking problem. If God wants something, that means he's got a need. A want is a need, right? And if he needs something,
sure. I don't know if I don't mean it like that. I don't think God is dependent on anything that I do or anything you do or anybody else. I think anybody can be an atheist. They wouldn't do. But like I do think that to a certain, again, if this was a simulation, I'll just give you the example again. And I created everything. I was the creator, created the entire universe, right? Exactly in the way we explained God with all those attributes, right? It wouldn't be too difficult for me to just create like another world that is completely made out of fire and just send people there that I don't like, right?
and the event, it resulted in the whites suffering more than the black pieces, right? And the end of the black pieces, or the white pieces, ended in hell, and the black pieces ended in heaven. So the question arises: why create the linear event? And if he's so powerful, why can he make the heaven straight? I.e., what a one-way, not a one-way system. Create the heaven, right, with already people in heaven, with the predetermined people in heaven, right, and leave the rest, or either leave the rest alone, i.e., the people who allegedly should go to hell, or not create them, right? Because he is creating the rules of the game, right? That has to be obvious. Yeah, we're not driving the game. Yeah, we did not invent the chess pieces. We not invented the movement. The movement has already been pre-established, right? So he knows everything that is going to be coming into effect. He knows the outcome. If you know the outcome, you don't need to play the game. I saw a film. Listen, I saw a film which is fucking relevant to this. I saw a martial art film whereby the two motherfucking martial artists, right? It went bang in whatever fucking pose. Yeah, I'm just fucking making this up, but the film happened, right? So what these two motherfuckers did, they sized each other up in every single fucking movement, right? So they fought as they would have fought, right? And one of them won. And the geezer that did not won, said, "Oh, you beat me," and he walked away as a defeated person, right? So that wasn't the actual film. That's fucking funny that happened, right? So why that could not be the case, right? Why cannot it? If you make a computer system like I did, right? I'm the creator of that, of my PC, my home PC, right? I built it from scratch, well, from pieces, right? Lego type thing, obviously, right? Yeah. I did not build it to fail. Yeah. I put as much emphasis in getting my shit right so it does its maximum capability. I did not build it so it gives me errors every X amount of time. I did not ask for the errors to pray for me so I can revert the errors. If you understand my weird analogy, right? Why not create the perfect computer in the first place? Why not creating the people in heaven in the first place instead of as he created? Because that is sadistic. Yeah, to create an event where there are good things happening and bad things happening. Because he...
No. I'll tell you what the difference is.
Okay.
So the difference in this